Okay, friends, we'll continue with the study of morphology of insect. And under that, you have already studied about the head region of insect and some of the structures on the head region, like the mouth parts and the visual organs, the eyes, compound eyes, and simple eyes. And the other sensory structure in the head region is the antennae. This antennae in insect, it serves as the nose of insect. The antennae they consist of various kinds of sensory structures known as sensilla. They may be olfactory sensilla, which perceive the smell, and chemoreceptory sensilla, which perceive the chemicals, and thermoreceptory sensilla, which measure the temperature, and hydroreceptory sensilla, which are capable of measuring the relative humidity, and gustatory sensilla, which perceive the taste, and like that, the tactile sensilla, which perceive the touch. So, all these kinds of sensory structures known as sensilla are present on the antennae. And this antennae basically consists of three segments. The first segment, is known as the scape. First part is known as the scape, and the second part is the pedicel, and the third one, which is many segmented, it is known as the flagellum. So pedicel, scape, pedicel, and flagellum are the three segments of the antennae. And where they are located, antennae are situated on the preoral part of the head, usually on the facial aspect. But in many larvae and in some adults, they are placed laterally, in the lateral side, just above the bases of the mandibles. And the functions of antennae include, as already explained, they are sensory in function. They perceive the odor, sound, humidity, and variety of chemical cues, and finding mates and food. They have sense of hearing, especially in case of mosquitoes and ants. And the antennae are also used as rope walkers or balancing organs. Especially it is observed in case of long-horned beetles. And they are also capable of measuring the flight speed or wind speed with the help of an organ known as Johnston's organ. Johnston's organ. These are the concentrations of sensory cells located internally in the pedicel, of each antennae. And these Johnston's organ are the concentrations of sensory cells. They are very sensitive to minute changes in the antennal position. Through that, they are capable of measuring the flight speed or wind speed. Okay, as you have observed in case of the mouth parts, there are different types of mouth parts were there in insects, like the siphoning type and the sucking type, by chewing and biting type, like that. Different types we have studied. And here in case of antennae also, they are variously modified. So different types of antennae are there in insects. So they can be named as aristate type of antennae, capitate type of antennae, clavate type, filiform, geniculate, lamellate, moniliform, pectinate, plumose, serrase, and cetaceous type. Let us see how these different types vary from each other. Okay, this is aristate type. Okay, here the antennae is pouch-like structure. Mainly the flagellar segment is a pouch-like structure, and it bears a bristle-like structure, a lateral bristle, which is observed in case of house flies of the order Diptera. It is aristate type, a pouch-like structure on which a bristle-like structure is seen over here. Okay, next type, the capitate type. Capitate type, the antennae are abruptly clubbed at the end. Okay, in the flagellar segment, the last segment is having the size of the last segment is abruptly increased. This is observed in case of butterflies, the capitate type of antennae. And the clavate type, the antennae are gradually clubbed at the end. Okay, in the previous case, the last segment was very much increased in the size abruptly, but here it is not so. There is a gradual increase in the flagellar segments from the base to the end. This is known as clavate type of antennae. So examples for this kind of antennae are the carrion beetles. Carrion beetles are having this kind of antennae. And piliform antennae. Piliform, the antennae are thread-like. There is no variation in the segments, the flagellar segments. They are same. They are thread-like. And this kind of piliform antennae are observed in case of ground beetles and longhorned beetles. Okay, next one is the geniculate type. The antennae are bent like an elbow. So here you can see the flagellar segment is having a bend. Okay, this kind of structures are observed in case of bees and ants. Geniculate type. Okay, this is the lamellate type or clubbed antennae. It is also known as clubbed antennae. And the last segments, they are leaf-like. They are lamellate, hence known as lamellate type. It is observed in the scarab beetles. Yeah, moniliform is another type of antennae, moniliform antennae. Here the flagellar segments are bead-like. It looks like as if some beads are arranged in a row. And this is observed in case of termites. The pectinate type. The antennae have a comb-like structure, comb-like shape. This is observed in fire-colored beetles and fireflies. And next type is the plumose type. Antennae have a feather-like shape. Mainly it is observed in case of moths and mosquitoes, plumose type. And the serrate type, it is a saw-like structure. Antennae have a saw-toothed shape. It is observed in case of click beetles. Saw-like antennae, serrate type of antennae. And cetaceous type, antennae have a bristle-like shape. The dragonflies and damselflies, they possesses this kind of antennae, cetaceous type of antennae. Okay, in the study of morphology of insects, the next body region of the insect is the thorax, the second segment of the insect body. This insect thorax is divided into three parts: the prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. Each segment, it consists of hardened plates or sclerites. The dorsal sclerite, the upper sclerites are called as nota. The singular is notum. And lateral sclerites are called as pleura, or the pleuron. And ventral sclerites are called as sterna or sternum. And the first segment of the prothorax is the pronotum. First segment of the dorsal plate of the prothorax is known as pronotum. And each of the three thoracic segments, they possesses one pair of legs. And there are two pairs of wings in insects. They are found only on the meso and metathoracic segments. And these meso and metathoracic segments, they are put together known as pterothorax, which are wing-bearing thoracic segments, pterothorax. And this pronotum, the dorsal scleroid of the prothorax, it also having they are highly modified. They are variously modified in scarab beetles and other beetles. They have unusual pronotums. In case of cockroach, the pronotum that extends forward over the head, it covers the head region, the pronotum. Okay, the 6 leg segments are coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, tarsus, and pretarsus. Okay, in this, the coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia are single segmented, and the tarsus is having the pseudo segments. It is again subdivided into varying number of segments. Okay, here the femur and tibia, they may be modified with the spines, and the tarsus, as I mentioned earlier, it appears to be divided into 1 to 5 pseudo segments, and these segments are known as tarsomeres. And they, like the mouth parts and antennae, the insect legs are also highly modified for different functions, depending on their environment in which they are living, and also depending on their lifestyle. The legs of the insect, they vary, and they have various kinds of modifications. Okay, the term pretarsus, the last segment of the leg, the term pretarsus, it refers to the terminal segment of the tarsus, and it also includes any other structures attached to it, and mainly they include a pair of claw-like structures, a pair of claws known as unguias, and aurolium, a lobe or adhesive pad between the claws, between those hook-like structures. And then empodium, a large bristle-like structure, or even sometime it may be a lobe between the two claws. And also pulvilli, a pair of adhesive pads. So these are the structures seen on the pretarsus. Okay, you can see here the claws, aurolium, empodium, and pulvillus. The claws, also known as unguias, the hook-like structures, and aurolium, a lobe or adhesive pad, and empodium, a large bristle-shaped structures between the two hook-like structures, and pulvilli, the pad-like structures. These are the terminal segments of the tarsus. In many insects, the other tarsal segments, they have ventral pulvillus, which are known as the plantae. And these various structures, the aurolium, pulvilli, and plantae, they produce a sticky secretion and act like suction pads, enabling the insects to climb smooth or steep surfaces. Okay, there are various modifications in the legs, and depending on the modifications, they have been named. So these the different types of legs are cursorial type, cursorial, raptorial type, ambulatory type, saltatorial type, uh, raptorial type, natatorial, prehensile type, the antennae cleaning type, and pollen carrier types. So like this, different types are there. The first one, cursorial type. They are adapted for running or walking. In some of the textbooks, you can see even the classification has cursorial and the walking and running type. They are mentioned as different two types, cursorial and ambulatory. They are put into two groups. Okay, in cursorial type, or also known as the walking type, all the legs are uniformly well developed without any special modification. So all the legs are uniform. There is no variation in the legs, and there is no any special modification in these legs. And this is seen in case of blister beetles and ground beetles and tiger beetles, the cursorial or walking type of legs. And the next one is the ambulatory type. In ambulatory type, here also all the legs are modified. This is observed in case of cockroaches, and they are commonly known as running type of legs. The only difference in this case is even though all the legs are normal, the coxa is widely separated. Coxa is widely separated in case of ambulatory type or running type of legs. So the next one is the raptorial type. They are adapted for catching and holding the prey. It is observed in case of praying mantids. Here, the modification is seen only in case of front legs or the forelegs. Okay, here, the femur is spinose. It is having a spine-like structure. The femur is having spine-like structure, and it possesses a central longitudinal groove. And tibia is narrow and blade-like. And this they are very much helpful in capturing the prey, capturing and holding the prey in a raptorial type of legs. You can see the legs, the cursorial and also the running ambulatory type of legs here in these examples, the ground beetle, cockroaches. Okay, raptorial types, the praying mantids. And it is also observed in case of the water scorpions. Okay, next type is the natatorial type or the swimming type of legs, the legs modified for swimming purpose. It is observed in case of water beetles. Here, modification is observed only in case of hind legs. Here, the hind legs are pad-like. Tibia and tarsus, they are short and broad. Having dense, long marginal hairs. They have dense, long marginal hairs. Okay, next the fossorial type. Or it is also known as the digging type of legs. Digging type. Here the modification is observed only in case of front legs or forelegs. The tibia and tarsus, they are short and broad with teeth-like projections. Teeth-like projections are observed in the tarsus, tibia and tarsus. Example for this is mole crickets. Mole cricket is the example for this kind of fossorial type of legs. Then saltatorial type of legs. It is observed in case of grasshoppers. Modification is observed only in case of hind legs, the third pair of legs of grasshoppers. Here, tibia and tarsus, the are normal. The femur and tibia is elongated here. It is very much elongated compared to the first two pairs of legs. So grasshoppers are the examples for saltatorial or jumping type of legs. So here you can see the natatorial or swimming type of legs in water beetles. Fossorial type of legs. The first one in case of mole cricket. And the second picture, you can see the immature stages of cicada. They are also having the fossorial or decayed type of legs. Saltatorial, jumping type of legs in case of grasshoppers, the crickets and katydids. Okay. For the pollen carrying type is observed in case of honeybees. Here modification is seen in case of the hind pair of legs. The inner surface of tibia has a groove and it is used as a pollen basket or corpicula. Another type is the antennae cleaner. Antennae cleaner, it is observed in case of the examples are again honeybees, but the modification is there only in case of front legs. So all the three casts of honeybees, they are having the modification of antennae cleaner. And here there is a basal notch at the base of the tarsal segment. And there is a at the tip of the tibia there is a structure which is projecting over this notch-like structure, and this notch there, which is there at the base tarsus, this notch is lined with stiff hairs. Inside it is comb-like. Comb-like, and when this the lower segments of the leg, the base tarsus is flexed against the tibia, the by covering up this lobe-like structure over this groove, there will be a formation of a complete ring-like structure. And the antennal segments, antennal flagellar segments are the honeybee, they keep their antennal flagellar segment into this groove-like structure and then they withdraw that so that the antennae gets cleaned. So this is antennae cleaner type. It is observed in case of 4 legs of honeybees. Another one is the clinging type. Clinging type observed in case of head loves. The tarsi are single segmented and terminates in a single C-shaped large claw, which works against the tibial process. So that because of that, they will be capable of holding onto the hairs. The legs are strongly developed and adapted for maintaining a firm hold on the hairs of the hosts. Clinging type. Human head flies, the claws are adapted for clinging to the hairs. climbing type. The pre-tarsus, they bear two claws, and lying below the claws are two fleshy lobes, which are known as the pulvilli. In between the pulvilli is the elongated spine-like structure known as empodium. The empodium and pulvilli, they may secrete a sticky substance, enabling the insect to climb the smooth or steep surfaces. And this climbing type of legs are seen in case of house flies.